Right, so welcome everyone to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. And today we have Marilyn Penny back with us, and she's going to be doing a property clearing. So if you recall from previous episodes, Dawn and myself did a soul realignment session. What you may not know is that my husband Barrie also did a soul realignment session. So Marilyn's back to do a property clearing for us. So Marilyn, welcome, glad to see you. So can you explain to us what the property clearing is all about and why we would do a property clearing?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So as with the soul realignment, that's working in the Akashic records, and I read information about your soul, and we go through the blocks and restrictions. I can also access the property from the Akashic records as well and find out if there are negative energies that are actually in your space. So what happens when you originally move into your house or go to your property or purchase your property, you're aligned with the energy in that property. And as you evolve and grow and whatever spiritual work you do over the time you're living there, that property cannot evolve. So those energies will stay there and kind of stagnate and can even hold you back from your own evolution or transformation when you're doing your spiritual work. So it's really important to clear your space on a regular basis to make sure that those energies are clear and you're more lined up with your own divine soul blueprint.
And how about, say you're moving into a space that was previously owned by someone else? Is this something we might even investigate doing ahead of time? Or is it once you're kind of in the space?
Well, really, it's either or, and it's true that if you move into a space that those energies from the people previous to you will be there, but that's what attracted you. So you've been attracted to that space. So yeah. I've kind of done both. I've done clearings for people who have just moved into their new space because they wanted a fresh space. And then I've also done for people who've been in their space for some time and they've felt these energies and they're just not sure what they are. So really it's for either. And actually a really good application is for someone who is selling their house and may have a little bit of trouble. It's not selling, and it could be because there's some negative energies or stagnant energies. And once those are cleared, that paves the way for different owners to come forward. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Caron, the only reason I agreed to this was that I thought property cleansing that she was coming to do our garage. I didn't
to clear out
one of the jobs.
Somebody was reading my little thing and he didn't have his glasses on and he said, "Oh, I thought it said property cleaning." I thought
down. Let's get that out of the way. This is not a property cleaning, it's a property clearing.
Right.
Okay, so where do we start?
You want to take it away? Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go through what I typically do for a property clearing is I do the work ahead of time, which I have done for your property. So I've already requested the clearing, and then by you, we sort of conversing about it, you are aware of the energies and accept that these are going to be cleared, and that completes the clearing, and that's it. There's no homework, Barrie.
Not like the previous 21 days that I had to make sure I kept doing my work. This is good.
Exactly. So, and typically too, I can just do this over the phone. It doesn't always have to be a Zoom session because it is usually pretty short, 10-15 minutes. I can do it on the phone. It's to whatever, it's to whatever your taste. If you want to see me, great. If we want to just talk on the phone, we can do that too. So I have cleared your house, and it's your property. So it's not necessarily just the house, but whatever property you would own too, whatever your ownership is. And in order to do a property clearing, I need the permission of the owners, which is you. So anybody, and if it's a person renting a property, as long as you're financially responsible for the space, I can clear it for you. So that can apply to some different applications. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, I found 2 portal ways open. And portal ways are energetic openings in your property that allow negative energies and any earthbound souls that may be floating about, that allows them to come and go, which can make your space a little bit unstable energetically. So it's good to close those down. And they can open up over time, like that can still happen. So it's good to get that checked every once in a while, or, it doesn't have to be done all the time. But and a portalway can be like a closet, like a dark corner in the house, or it can be a room where you don't feel, so just know that the energy is off a little bit. And I know you have your cat Simba. If she doesn't like a certain area or doesn't go in a certain room or a closet, that could be where a portal is, because animals or small children tend to be, or anybody energetically sensitive would tend to stay away from a portal, because they know there's that energy floating around. So what you should notice after this, and it should only take, some people notice it immediately. I've actually done a clearing and then phoned somebody and I said, or texted them and said, I just finished clearing your space. Can I call you now? And they're like, oh my God, I noticed something happened. There was a shift. Like, it's really interesting stuff that happens. Okay, the next thing I found were independent negative thought forms. And we talk about these in soul clearing. A negative or an independent thought form is just a thought form that, like a belief that everybody subscribes to, we don't really know why, like believing in the tooth fairy, for instance. Or there's a lot of negative independent thought forms, like political beliefs and religious beliefs, et cetera, that maybe not necessarily true, but a lot of people just subscribe to them, and it creates that energy. So it doesn't really matter what the actual thought form is. It matters what energy it creates for you. And the two that you have are withdrawal and suffering. So in the house, have you ever had feelings of that? Have you ever felt those energies?
Thinking about my previous cancer journey, I wouldn't say quarantined to the house, but I couldn't get out of the house just because of my health status at the time. And definitely, so felt withdrawal and felt a fair amount of suffering at times, for sure.
Sure. And the suffering can be just that things feel hard to do. It's not that you're and you were in that case physically suffering, but also mentally suffering. Mm-hmm. So suffering comes in all sorts of packages. So what happens when a thought form, when it gets attached into your space, it just lingers there because you've accepted it, and at one time you were feeling those feelings. You may not be feeling those feelings anymore, but they're hanging around in the house because they have not been cleared. Because you can't actually physically do that. I can't say get out. Like, you can do the smudging and all of those things, but to actually go into the record and say what's hanging in there, what do we need to get rid of? So you really should feel that it should dissipate now, and you should actually feel a lightness in the air that stuff isn't hanging around.
Great.
That's kind of cool. So and they're just hanging around there because you've kept those feelings, even though you've been beyond, you've come past those feelings in yourself mentally. Your space is not past those.
Right.
So that's really interesting. And there's also a disruptive soul floating around there too.
Disruptive soul.
You had one, and now there's this one too. So there's one attached to the house. And that just means that a disruptive soul is not dangerous in any way. It just means they've been around for a long time. They've got a lot of energy, and they can mess with you. They can mess with your electronics. They can cause you to lose things, be confused, losing things, losing sleep. There's all kinds of stuff that disruptive souls do. And I've actually cleared some places that have had disruptive souls, and, things are falling off shelves, and, and kids are seeing things, and they've actually cleared, they've gone away, because I just lovingly request that they move on. It's time to go. So, so I don't know if you guys have had anything specific that you that relate to that.
I would definitely say things like light flickering. I've said that to Caron like 2 or 3 times, Caron, the last 6 weeks.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, and I thought this was someone I knew, a spirit that I knew.
Yeah.
But I used to keep my hair dryer plugged into the wall, and it would start spontaneously.
Oh my God.
And it kept happening. So eventually I don't keep it plugged in anymore because
Come on.
yeah, so like, I
Wow.
mean, that is just, you can almost explain away a light flickering. Not, I know that there's more to it, but this was like,
That's
this was
really,
like, yeah.
really interesting. These earth pencils are not, they're not related to you in any way. So they've just somehow, they've just been around for a long time, and they're in the in between, and they need to be sent back, and they need to be sent to their next experience, and that's all it is. So it's a nice thing. I feel like I'm doing a good service to these souls to help them move to their next.
Oh, so you actually don't just clear them out of the house, you actually help them transition.
I actually,
wonderful.
we actually request that they transition, right? Good. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's your property clearing. And so then we just sort of see how you feel after, if, you know, a few days later. And I've had, I could say 100% of people come back and say something changed for them. They felt lighter. They felt, you know, a little bit better. You know, I've had people come to me that say they were, you know, arguing unnecessarily. They didn't know why. And sometimes I'll ask someone if they feel uncomfortable in their house, or in certain, do they feel that way when they go somewhere else? And if they don't feel those negative energies, it is in their house. It's not them. So I think that's the message too, is to say, if you are feeling uncomfortable or negative feelings or energies, it's not necessarily you. It could be your space. So it's always good to have a little refresh.
And have you found that that'll, you know, could make a difference in how you sleep, you know, in that house or that kind of thing? Like, is that some of the outcomes that could come out of this?
Yeah, I had somebody tell me today actually that they're sleeping better. And I had someone else tell me they're not fighting with their husband as much. And I've had all sorts of people tell me. I'm just thrilled. I love this work because of the feedback that I got. So
We both highly recommend this. And I think even having people think of doing this as a couple, doing the personal, each partner in the couple doing the solar realignment and then having the house clearing, it makes sense to kind of do all of that, you know, if you can. So I think, Barrie, you and I agree that it's something that couples should do if they can.
Yeah,
And,
great. It could be a great Christmas present. It could be a great wedding gift, a birthday gift, etc. I mean,
a wedding gift. Wouldn't that be cool?
yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
On the registry.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's nice to get experiential things now. People have enough stuff. So
Yeah, it's true.
experiential things are fabulous. Good.
Yeah, great idea.
That was awesome.
Good.
Okay, so thank you again, Marilyn. You're such a great wealth of information. Dawn and I'll speak for Dawn as well, since she's not here, but we are both so happy that we met you. So thanks again for joining us, for helping us, and we look forward to speaking with you soon.
Great. Well, the feeling is mutual. I've just loved meeting all of you too. It's been great. Wonderful.